Well, welcome back for class number 2 of e-commerce 101. Um, super glad you're here. Makes it way more fun. So welcome. Let's see here. So we are recording this session and I'm Liz Jameson. I am the Veterans Business Development Specialist for Enterprise for Equity. We have a new website, which is enterprise-for-equity.org that just went up. So scope it out if you like. We also just had our very special graduation ceremony last night, our graduation showcase for some of our 2019 and 2020 graduates of our business planning program. So there's a really cool YouTube video, if you look us up on YouTube, where all of our some of our students who did the business plan writing workshop with us over 10 weeks made videos to talk about what they learned and what they learned and how it was for them and so forth. So it was really cool to see how far everybody's come. So I'll be curious to see what ground you take also out of having participated in this class. So I hope you'll keep me posted and let me know.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so since we worked together last time, we'll skip this one. Although I do want to give you an opportunity to say if there's anything particular you really want to learn or investigate tonight or talk about related to e-commerce.
Well, actually, I think I'm looking forward to tonight too, because I have hired a webmaster who has done a lot of my both work for getting my web up, which, as I said, is quite old, as well. And so I really don't know the details of decision making and about where I might have, been able to make different decisions. So that's why I'm really interested in this kind of from the ground up. Not that I want to take it over because of time. I don't have the time, but I want to be sure I know what questions to be asking of my webmaster to keep it current. And I feed her the information, but anyway, that's I think about it.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can definitely talk some about that, about, well, we talked some last time about what you'd include or not include or what you'd want to ask about your web contract. And certainly as you're working together going forward, we'll hit on some of those topics too. And I think some of the ideas that you'll hear about tonight will prompt you to think, oh yeah, what if, and then you can ask her about those things. Yeah, that'd be great.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So the purpose for tonight's session is to get familiar with e-commerce entrepreneurial thinking. Just as last time we really talked about websites, branding, social media marketing, the whole kind of big picture and how your website fits into all that. And tonight we'll get a little more in the nitty gritty and talk about some of the more technical aspects of e-commerce. And really part of tonight is about conversions, right? Understanding conversions and how to measure and improve your conversion ratios so that your site's actually doing its job more effectively. So that'll be one of the big topics for tonight. Let's see. So thinking how to think about your whole e-commerce operation, understanding your online shoppers' needs and wants. A lot of it you can intuit from your own experience as an online customer, right? But it's helpful, I think, just to point out some of those things. And then you go, oh yeah, I've been on a site like that. And I abandoned my shopping cart because it was too frustrating. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
We all had that experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we'll look at how to plan out an e-commerce website and get familiar with some ways to get traffic to it. And then, of course, we want to convert that traffic once it gets to the site. And then we'll have some Q&A time and towards the end there. Well, and throughout. Yeah, because it's just us. We can talk through whatever we want at each stage. So, yeah.
Great.
Okay. Okay, so the first question a lot of times people ask is, should I be adding e-commerce to my business? A lot of times people feel like this social pressure, like I should. And maybe it makes the most sense, but I just want people to be able to think through the pros and cons for themselves of if it's the right fit. And so you want to identify or clarify the costs. What will it cost me to add e-commerce to my site? You may be paying merchant processing fees, for instance, already. And so you might be paying the same merchant processing rate online, or you might be paying a different merchant processing fee for your online transactions. So that's something to think about, as well as, if you maintain your site, then, and you can do the administration on your e-commerce, that's a little bit less costly versus if you have to pay your designer every time you want to change out a product or an image or change a price, then it gets a little more expensive that way. So we just want to look at what are all the costs. Also, if we don't already have a secure server certificate, we must have that for e-commerce, right, to make our customer feel safe. So those could be some costs in addition to your site itself that might occur at the time that you add e-commerce. So one way to look at any change in your business and figure out what are the financial ramifications of a particular action that you might take in business is to actually map out your cash flow projections, right? Month by month by month. And we have a great template for that. If you'd like it, just let me know. I can email it to you. And this helps you see what is your money in and what is your money out for each month for a year out, let's say. So you can see what you're expecting to spend and what you're expecting to have for income. And also that way you can be aware of it. If, let's say, if your business has some seasonality to it, then you can plan, right, for the low months. So when you either have to put some money away when you're in your high months so you can still eat during your low months, or you may need to have something like a business line of credit available or something like that, if you're going to have a loss for one or more months in a row. Yeah. So it's just a great planning tool, but it also lets you crunch your numbers for a particular scenario. What if I add e-commerce as a revenue stream? What if I add a part-time person? What if I add a full-time person? Then how does that impact all my numbers? And it helps you clarify, oh, I can afford to add a new person. And here's how much they need to sell in order to cover the cost of themselves, right? So that's a useful exercise to do, and it's one you can do for e-commerce as well, and start to look at, okay, if I spend some money on, let's say, search engine optimization and web designer to upload all my products and my product descriptions and my product images and so forth, how soon can I begin to profit from this revenue stream and pay back my initial investment of adding e-com, whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. So that's a good number to know. You want to know when it starts to become sort of an asset, a profit producing asset versus a liability for you. Yeah. One way.
I want to just share with you that I just have finished taking the Finance 101 class with Jim Williams, and I'm just beginning my cash flow projection, which I've never done before. So.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. So you're on the case already. This is very good. I hope you'll enjoy that process. Jim is fantastic. And so he's a great leader. He's a great teacher, especially of the financial topics, because he's so passionate about them. And it'll definitely help you. You'll feel like you have your arms around your numbers once you get that done. It's a good thing. Okay, so very good. So another thing you can do to scope out what might be the cost of e-com in your particular industry is just visit with other business owners who are in your same industry. See if you can get some in-industry mentors, right? That's always helpful. Other people who have the same or similar kind of business to what you have that have made the change that you're looking at making, and see how it went for them. What pitfalls can they say, oh, you got to avoid this, or can they tell you what to look out for, and how soon did it work out for them, or how is it working out for them? Yeah, so that's a good resource. You can also go to your competitors' websites and see what they're doing, see what they're charging, and get some good intel that way to consider. You want to do your keyword research, right? You want to find out how people are searching when they're looking for someone like you, some product or service like yours. So we'll talk some more about that during the course of tonight. And then look at, is this shopping cart, do I do business to business or business to consumer, right? Because your e-commerce might be set up a little bit differently depending on if you're doing B2B or B2C or both. So some people do both. In your case, are you just business to consumer, yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, very good. That'll make things a little simpler. This I mentioned last time, and hopefully you're working on this in your, as you put together your cash flow projections with Jim's class, so that's perfect. So you'll want to create, of course, an annual goal for your business. Let's say for next year or for the rest of this year, for fourth quarter, if you haven't got one already. So you have a clear intention, yeah? Because you want to know what your overall revenue that you are intending to have is, right? Because e-com is going to be one part of that. So if you have one revenue stream called e-commerce, it's got to make up some percentage, right, of that overall number each month. And we want to have it be as productive as possible. But basically, just like with the website, generally, we want to hold our e-commerce revenue stream accountable for producing, right, a certain result. So if we don't create an intention for it that we can measure, like how many transactions a week or a month or a day, right? How much money is transacted on the website in dollars a week, a month, or a day, or the year, right? Then there's no way to know if we're really meeting our goal. So anyway, just note there about setting that clear intention for that business overall, and then breaking out into periods of time, and then setting the goal for this particular revenue stream, because in your business, you want to have each and every revenue stream that you have in your business should be profitable in and of and by itself, right? No loss leaders, right? No profit centers or revenue streams that are, taking up the profit from a different revenue stream because they're showing a loss, right? We want every revenue stream to be profitable, including your e-commerce. So if you got a revenue stream that's not making it, it's not covering its own costs, then you got to look at, whether or not it makes sense to kill that revenue stream. Or maybe you want to add some other revenue streams that might be more profitable. Okay, so on the budgeting side of life here, let's see here, did I miss one? No, okay. On the budgeting side of life, there could be a cost for your website design and development. There could be a cost for the copywriting for the pages of the site. In the case of e-commerce, there's copywriting for the product descriptions, which turns out to be really important. Sometimes that text is the thing that persuades people to buy or not. So we want to have really good descriptions that are persuasive, that tell a story, that make the emotional connection, right? Because then we'll convert more people. There also might be a cost for having some photography done, let's say of particular meals or whatever all products you're selling, right? Or it could be videography, or you could use some stock photography for the website, and that has a cost associated with it as well. So these are all things to discuss with your designer and include in your budget potentially. And then there's the cost of hosting or licensing the particular platform that you build your site on. So some people pay a hosting company to host your website, right? We said, I think last time, hosting is like storage space on the server that's connected to the internet 24/7, right? We have the earthquake proof racks and hopefully backups and double backups and all of that, right? So that our site does not go down. That hosting might cost us anywhere from 100 or 120 bucks up to 200 or 300 bucks a year, depending on how fancy a hosting service we need and which platform we choose. So with some platforms, we're building our site right into that platform. We're using their template. We can't take our site with us. It's built inside their system, like Squarespace is one like that. Other kinds of platforms allow you to build your site, and you can take all your files with you and go to a different hosting company if you want. So there are those two options. And then if you're going to do search engine optimization, which is helpful, right, to get people to your site, then your designer may offer that service, or you may want to hire a separate person who's a specialist in search engine optimization. Sometimes they're the same person, sometimes they're not. And then you can, if you want to really geek out and get technical, I do like all that nerdy stuff. You can do your own keyword research and really produce your list of top 20 or 30 long tail keyword phrases, right? Phrases that are a string of words that people search by when they're looking for someone like you. So you can do that research yourself, or you can have a professional do it for you. And sometimes a professional will have access to tools, paid tools that they've paid for a license, so they can get more information. So that's something to consider. And then you might potentially have the cost of building out social media platforms. You know, if you want to have a presence on Twitter and on Pinterest and on YouTube and so forth, you may want to have your web designer or a social media consultant build out your platforms, you know, on all those different social media platforms. Or you may say, oh, I'm going to, you know, piece it together myself over time, and you can do that too. Let's see. And then either you can maintain your own social media platforms, right, by doing your own posting and such, or using a tool like we'll talk about some tonight, that tools that allow you to aggregate your posts and schedule them out so that you could, you know, you could put all your Facebook posts, or let's say your Instagram posts, into your tool and have it set to automatically do your posting for you, you know, 3 times a week or whatever it is that you want to do. So it might cost a little something to use those kind of tools, but they're also really convenient. They let you do, you know, you can do up to a year or something all at once, or, you know, you could chunk it down into quarters or such like that. But that way you're handling it, you know, quarterly or monthly or something like that, instead of trying to shift your attention to managing your social media, you know, every day or every week. So some people like to pay someone to do their social media management and engagement and such for them. Other people like to do it themselves. So that's something to consider. There could be the cost of social media ads or other online advertising. That's related to your site, but it's actually not a cost of your site itself, obviously. So if I say I want to run some Facebook ads to get people to my site, for instance, then I'll have a cost to that, right? What I pay Facebook to show my ads to people. I'm going to have my merchant processing fees, right? So I'll have to study up and see which merchant processors are available through the platform I want to use, and how much do they charge, right? Usually it's something like 2 or 3 or 4% of all your revenue that comes from credit card transactions. So that can depend a little bit on whether you're running people's cards in person, or whether you're taking their, usually it's a little bit higher when you take their cards online. And certain platforms restrict you in terms of which merchant processors you can use. For instance, Squarespace will only work with PayPal or Stripe or Square. So you have to choose one of their preferred merchant processors if you're building your site on their platform. Okay, and so some other costs we could think about here. What will the cost be of shipping or handling, or if we're delivering product locally, delivery costs? So that's something to consider. Also, if we want to have an email broadcast system or database management, some place that will house all of our customer data and also our prospect data, that would be good, right? We want to build our list, and that could allow us to stay top of mind with our customers, right? By sending them specials and coupon codes and discounts and whatever else we want to mail out to them on a regular basis via email. And I mentioned here CRM system, that's customer relationship management system, right? That's what we call some of the more robust databases where you can track your whole sales conversation with people. You could see the whole history. Oh, I sent them this email, I sent them that email, I sent them a proposal on X date, and on Y date they haven't responded yet. So I put myself a reminder to check in with them. Oh, did you review my proposal, right? And so a CRM system helps you see how many dollars you have in your sales pipeline right now, and also how many customers you have in your sales pipeline right now. So if I had a particular goal, how many transactions I wanted to do this month, or how many dollars in sales I wanted to close this month, I could look in my CRM system and see, oh, do I have enough prospects in the mix? Depending on what my sales process is, right? It's different for each kind of business. But I could look in my CRM and I could say, oh, I don't have enough people in my pipeline. There's no way I can make my goal this month with only the people I have in my pipeline now. I've got to add more prospects into my pipeline in order to be able to make my sales goal for this month, right? Because I know over a period of time, I have a close ratio, right? So if I talk to 10 prospects, then usually I know, at first, maybe I'm only going to close 1 out of 10, right? But after I get practiced with having my sales conversations, maybe I'm going to close 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10. And if I know what my close ratio is, right, then I know how many people I need to have in my sales pipeline to make my goals happen. And that way I don't get so attached to whether, one person closes or not, right? Because I know I got 10 in the pipeline, 5 of them are, they've been in the sales process long enough, 5 of them will close this month and I'm in good shape, right? So then it kind of takes the pressure off any one individual sale having to close, right, for you to make your goal. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then online review system. Oh, that's so important. so nowadays, many consumers, and especially millennials, right, they shop online, and they will shop by the online reviews. And our Gen X generation too, by the way, also will shop online and read reviews before they make a product buying decision. And so you want to collect good reviews from your customer. You want those 5-star reviews, either, if you're a restaurant, you want them on Yelp, you want them on Google, right? You want those 5-star reviews. And if you do have anybody that puts a negative review, you want to, either, somehow make it right with them or deal with them publicly in the forum that they made the comment, right? So online reputation management is a huge deal now, and it is a big part of e-commerce because it impacts your conversions. So you want to have a way in your shopping cart system to ask people to review the product every time, right? So if they buy, then we want to either send them an email requesting the review or write at the end of the if it's an instant download or, once they've had time to get the product and use it, however that is for a particular business, we want to always invite the customer to review the product. And there are a couple different online review systems, like apps or widgets that you can build into your site that automatically ask the customer for the review every time. So those are super cool. They can also funnel people into different directions. So they could ask, for instance, I know one local online review system provider, and his system asks people first on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your experience? And if they say 8, 9, or 10, then the system automatically forwards them right to Google. So you leave the 5-star Google review. But if it's less than 8, if it's 1 to 7, then that customer goes into a ticket system and says, what happened? What could we have done to make it better? And then a customer service person can follow up with that person and get them to a 10 before they leave you that negative online review, right?
Yeah, that's great.
So you can see the importance of that. And I'm sure you know this already with restaurant. Yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
some online reviews?
Oh, yes. I manage them myself, and we're, really heavy in Yelp and Google and OpenTable and TripAdvisor, and I
Oh,
check them every day. I respond to every one of them, and
fantastic.
we've got about a 4.5 in every sector. So yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
So you've done a good job managing your online reputation then. Very good.
The one thing I haven't done, I mean, because I tried to avoid it, so you're making me think about it. What I'm really thinking about for us, in as far as e-commerce, is I do not now do ordering for takeout online. I do it just by telephone. So I am listening to all of this, thinking about that business. So
Mhm,
on my website, although there is a place for people to go and leave their comments,
mhm.
or concerns, um, I don't have an automatic widget to any of these other folks. Like some people will say, if you'd like to leave a review for us on Yelp, and I don't say that. I do. I mean, basically, I've not made that link to try to avoid bad ones, because I figure good people are going to do it anyway. They're already engaged.
Oh,
But maybe I'm wrong. So I'm interested in your thoughts about that.
well, that's fantastic. People are obviously having a great experience if they're voluntarily reviewing you and giving you positive reviews. So that's a great thing. However, there might be a lot more of your happy users that you could capture their reviews if you just ask them for it every time, you know?
Uh-huh.
So you could suddenly go from, if you have 100 great reviews, you might be able to bump up to several hundred great reviews just by instituting the practice of asking every time and automating that. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
a possibility. And that can impact your search engine optimization, your search engine rankings as well. So especially for restaurant, I think for restaurants, um, these reviews might be even more important than other kinds of businesses because people rely on them so heavily to make their buy decisions. Oh, we're going to go here, or no, we're going to go over there for our dinner out, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's a good.
May I may I ask you about keyword research when you're talking about, I myself have never done that, and I'm not sure whether or not, and I've not asked my webmaster to do it because I really didn't know about it.
Okay.
Um, but you were saying something about doing it ourselves, and coming up with the phrases. Is there something that I could be doing to do that myself?
Mhm. Okay, yes. All right. So I'm going to give you some steps that you can do, and it's totally fun. um, so, one thing you can do, the easiest way to do some keyword research is to actually, there's two places to go, Google and YouTube. Um,
Okay.
and so Google is the number one, obviously, most used search engine. YouTube is actually the number two most used search engine now, and it's owned by Google.
Mm-hmm.
So between those two, you're covering a lot of traffic, a lot of ground. And so what you do is go into the search bar and put in what you think your customer might be typing in, right? when they're looking for someone like you know. So what do you think some of those things might be?
Seafood restaurant, fine dining,
Uh-huh.
historic train station.
Okay. Okay, good. Now, I would invite you to consider that for restaurants in particular, and for everything nowadays, but especially for restaurants, you need a localizing word at the end of that search. So what town are you in?
Ah, Seaview.
Seaview. Okay.
Mhm.
So you would type in seafood restaurant Seaview, fine
Okay.
dining Seaview, historic train station in Seaview, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
when you type in those keyword phrases into Google, you're going to see the little drop down that comes up and it shows you similar searches. So these
Okay.
will be the things that people are actually typing in that are similar to the keyword search you typed in. This will give you some good ideas as far as the way people are phrasing their searches. But I guarantee you a lot of them for restaurants will have the name of the city or the name of the town. Um,
Okay.
or they might have a zip code as part of the search. You know, it might be seafood restaurant in the zip code,
Hmm.
or it could be the county, or it
Okay.
could be people will type in, you know, seafood restaurant near me,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Google will look at their GPS and go, oh, okay, this person is typing the search on their cell phone, and here's where they're located. Here's a seafood restaurant that's near them now.
Okay.
So those are some of the things to consider. So if you go to both Google and YouTube and type in some of the different things that you think people might be searching by, Google's going to
Okay.
show you that drop down list of some of the things people are actually searching by, with the most heavily searched one usually at the top. And then as you go down, you know, other ways that people are searching, but not as many as you go down the list. That's going to give you some good ideas as you begin to assemble what you think your best keywords are. You can also find out what your competitors, what keywords are they ranking by, if you have some locally.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I'll give you some tools for how to do that.
Okay.
So that's coming up.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I think it's great. You're ahead of the game here because you've been managing your online reputation. You've been managing your reviews. So probably a lot more is possible for you if you systematize asking for those reviews on each of those platforms that are important to you.
Hmm.
It's going to help you get found. But if you're already getting lots of good reviews, that's fantastic. And that probably means there's a lot more you could get if you ask.
Sure. Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here are some questions that you want to ask yourself, yeah, as you're thinking about your e-commerce website. Well, and some of them apply to your business overall too, right? Um, but especially for e-com also, how can I increase my average unit sale, right? If your average sale is, you know, X many dollars, how can I increase that average, right? Either I sell more beverages, or I sell more alcohol, or I sell more desserts, right, with the meals, or I up the price of my meals, you know, a buck or two or whatever, right? Or I get more large groups in, right? Or I turn my tables faster, or right? There's like a lot of possible ways to be more
Yes.
efficient and effective here. But we always want to be looking at how can we increase our average unit sale? Same customer, same transaction, but more dollars. Yeah. How can I increase frequency, right? The frequency with which people visit my restaurant or my online store, right? And so that's what frequency cards are for, or loyalty programs, right? To bring people in over and over within a period of time. So we're increasing the frequency that with which they make purchases. So we can offer them incentives and such to do that. How can I enroll people in, let's say, a year-long or some other long-term ongoing contract where they get a shipment every month, like a subscription program. So I have actually seen some restaurants who did this very creatively, right? You can sign up for like a monthly subscription program where you have a date night, right? And you sign up for once a month date night, and it's for the whole year. And then you've got your table reserved and they know what you want to order, like, or you can change it up or you can get your regular stuff. But like you get a romantic evening and you get all kinds of, this sells really well to men actually who buy it for women because they get all kinds of brownie points, right? For setting up this romantic date night for the year, right? So every month you get to look forward to this thing, right? So scope out, there's a marketing guru called Dan Kennedy. And he has this great story about a restaurant that just, they repositioned themselves. They reframed their business. They actually were an Italian restaurant and they reframed their whole branding so that they are now the provider of romance. And their sales just went through the roof by adapting this framing where they're selling romantic date nights for men, to buy for their spouse. And it went over so well. That was just a very successful ad campaign.
That's great.
Yeah. So if I can remember the name of the restaurant, I'll get it to you so you can look it up online. It's a great story. Great. So there's a lot of creative. I'm sorry?
Oh, I wrote down Dan Kennedy. So good.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. And Dan Kennedy, by the way, has a whole bunch of books on marketing, bootstrapping it for entrepreneurs. And he probably has 20, 25, 30 different books that he's written specifically for entrepreneurs about marketing. So he's a good person to know and follow.
Good.
His website is, I believe, nobsbooks.com. So he has this whole series of the No BS books for entrepreneurs.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay, so subscription programs where they commit to a year or commit to 6 months. These are good for any kind of business, right? Because we can have people pay up front or we can have them pay monthly. But either way, we're having them commit to a longer period of time, more frequent purchases, and we're maybe giving them a discount to incentivize them to make this longer term commitment. And if they were going to buy anyway, then they're super excited about that. And now you have such loyalty, right?
Yes.
Okay. Also for e-commerce, we want to think, how can I upsell and how can I downsell? And you hear the word upsell a lot. You don't hear downsell very much. But what we mean by that is when a person buys something online, upsell is, would you like fries with that, right? Right. So you're selling them something else to add to their order. Downsell would be, if they get in your shopping cart process and they don't buy the thing they were looking at, you could sell them something that's a little less, that's similar, right? Your next step down from whatever it was they were looking for before. Or it could be you sell them, they buy the thing that was in their shopping cart, and then you ask them, later, would you like to buy this less expensive product that goes with the thing you got, right? So we either sell them something that costs more or we can sell them something that costs less. Either one is additional and increases our average unit sale. One great thing to think of in e-commerce and to actually survey or talk to your customers about is, what do they want? What would they like to buy from you, right? So you ask them. How do you find out? You ask them. What would you like to buy from me? What would you like to see us offer? And then the bottom one here, how can I adapt and use my customer feedback to make my product or service more extraordinary and desirable to my clients? And again, that's in doing some informational interviews or surveys with your customer to find out, what do they want? What would they like to buy from you? And then being able to offer it to them. Okay, so what do people look for when they're shopping online? And some of these are even maybe unconscious. They may not even be present to or consciously thinking they want these things, but they do want these things. And that is, one of them is quick page loading, right? So if your website loads slowly, more than a few seconds, then then one thing is Google will rank you lower. Google thinks it's not a good site if your page load speed is too slow. The other thing is your customer won't wait for your page to load. They'll, run off and, it'll be squirrel, bright, shiny object, and they'll go off to some other website or button, right? So we want fast, easy navigation, right? So they can get where they want to go quickly. Less click-throughs, right? So it takes less clicks to make your purchase, like Amazon. We were talking about Amazon last time. One click
Yes.
or maybe 2 clicks and you've bought your stuff. So the less steps it takes, the less work it is for your customer, the more you'll sell. We want an intuitive and clear homepage layout so we can see where things are. If they're looking for something particular, they want to be able to find it. We want scannable text. We talked about that last time, in chunks. So a paragraph is divided up by headings, subheadings, and bullet points. And then we want immediate customer service if we can. There's such an instant gratification culture that we're living in, right? And especially, I think, when it comes to e-commerce. So if you can have a live chat or a chat bot on your website that answers people's questions, that can be really cool, especially if it's a real customer service person that can chat with you. But there's a lot of chat bots now that are very popular. I don't know. I particularly find them frustrating. Like, if I can't get to a real person and actually ask my question and it just sends me back to the frequently asked questions, then that's actually more frustrating for me than if they didn't have the bot. So yeah. I don't know. There's some pros and cons there, I guess. People want to be able to see the product well, right? So to be able to, especially if your product has texture and unique qualities to it and such, your customer does not want to see a blurry or pixelated image. They want to see a clear image so they can really see what it is that they're getting. And it's nice for products that are big or have a lot of detail. We want to be able to zoom in to see the detail on those products, especially for apparel. We want to be able to see the detail, see the texture of the fabric or the quality of the stitching in the images. Yeah. So it's helpful to be able to zoom in to see the detail on the product. And videos, of course, are a very popular way that people like to consume information right now, right? And so it's helpful to have videos about, how you assemble or put together your product, how to use my product, videos, like here's me using it to do this or using it to do that. Or here's how you put it together. There's also unboxing videos are very popular right now. So that means, when you get, when somebody gets your product in the mail and they bring it home and then they make a video of them opening it and scoping it out and like, oh, here's how this works and how easy is it to put together and use right away. And a lot of people who review products use unboxing videos so that customers can see what kind of experience they're going to have when they receive the product. And that makes people actually feel safer to buy. So those are quite popular right now. A lot of bloggers make unboxing videos for products that they buy that are related to their blog topic. Mm-hmm. Also, videos are great for testimonials, right? If you can catch your customer, let's say, as they're leaving the restaurant and they're all happy, they had a great experience, or if they'd let you, if you go up to a table and ask some of your loyal regulars or something, would they say a few words about why they love your restaurant? or what their favorite dish is, or why they keep coming back, or whatever. Those video testimonials are super powerful. Those will help you convert prospects into buyers. No matter what kind of business you have, those video testimonials are a super powerful way to, because it's not just you saying your business is great, or your product is great, or your service is great. It's them, it's your customer saying how great your product or service is, right? And so it gets more credibility and authority. You want to have good, thorough product descriptions. So, you know, you're going to describe the ingredients or the deliciousness of the spices, or just you want to have some good, juicy copy about your product or service next to the image of your product or service, hopefully in use, right? Product in use converts better than picture of product on the shelf. So someone enjoying the product would be great. And then the product description. Let's see, we talked about third-party reviews and testimonials. Oh, and security, right? Nobody wants to give you their credit card if they're not sure that your site is, you know, well built and secure and encrypted. That is why we need the secure server certificate to demonstrate that we've handled that. Also, if you built your site on a platform that is known to be, you know, a bigger platform, more secure, you know, really have it, that part of life nailed down, then that might help increase your sales. If you don't have your secure server certificate, you know, people would be, hopefully, you know, if they know enough to be frightened, they would be. Yeah. Okay. So what do you want your shopping cart to do? We know we want it to sell, but there's a whole boatload of other things it might do that would help us be more efficient in business. So for instance, we may want our shopping cart to integrate with our inventory system, right? If we have an inventory of products, because if we have, depending on what kind of products we sell, right? If I'm an artist and I have one original of this painting that I can sell, then I need to tell my shopping cart that, right? So that it knows once that one is sold, that one's gone, take it down, right, from the website. Now, if I have a widget product, right, I make dolls, let's say, and I have, you know, an inventory with hundreds or thousands of the same doll, then my inventory system would know that, and I'd know not to take down that picture of that doll or the option to buy that doll, because there are many in my inventory, right? I'm not going to run out. Anyway, so that's something to think of. Does my shopping cart integrate with my inventory system, or can it be my inventory tracking system? Some shopping carts are designed to do both. Will it integrate with whatever order fulfillment, or if I'm drop shipping my product, will it integrate with those systems? Will it integrate with my accounting system, right? Can it connect up so that it downloads all my transactions to my QuickBooks, or talks to my QuickBooks? Will it integrate with my merchant processing, right? So that my merchant processing, my accounting system, my POS system, so that, and my shopping cart, you know, everything's all connected, right? Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But you want to find that out as you're planning your e-commerce, right? Because it can be a real problem and a real drag if your systems don't talk to each other, and then it just creates more work. That's not good. So it can also talk to your CRM system, for instance, your database that holds all your customer and prospect data. That's handy. Then we could track, like, if a particular customer's been in lately or not, then we'd know, oh, we need to send them a, we haven't seen you for a while message. We miss you, you know. Then we'd know that, and we could send it out. So you want your shopping cart also to be able to allow you, if you're administering the system, to be able to manage your products, like take a product down or add a new product. to change the options for a product. Let's say you're selling t-shirts and you've got, small, medium, large, extra large, and you've also got them in 4 different colors. Your shopping cart system needs to be able to manage all of those options so the person can pick their size and then pick the color they want, right? Not every shopping cart system is robust enough to handle a lot of different product options. I have seen some products that have, 6 or 8 or 10 different options, right? So your cart needs to be able to manage all those different choices that might be available around a particular product. For instance, I had one time a customer who had like doorknobs and hardware and hinges and such, right? And so there was a finish, the color of the finish, the texture of the finish, either brushed or not, or maybe hammered finish, and then, facing left, facing right, length or size, or right opening door, left opening cabinet, whatever, right? So whatever cart you get needs to be able to handle whatever different options that you have for each product. And hopefully all your shopping cart systems now really, they calculate the shipping costs for you and the sales tax for you. So that's great. We want your shopping cart to also display a thank you message and offer an upsell, right? So when somebody buys something, we instantly show our appreciation and we confirm, hey, you made a great decision by buying this product. And we offer them something else, right? We also want the cart to send them a shipping confirmation and tracking number so they know, oh, okay, my product shipped out today. Here's my tracking number, and I can kind of follow it all the way until it gets to me. And then I want to be able to send my customer email newsletters and discounts and such. And here's something really important that most people don't think about. How are you going to deal with abandoned shopping carts? So when someone goes to your site and they put something in the shopping cart and they don't go all the way through the process and buy, this is actually a really important behavior to capture, right? We want to know who that customer was, what they put in their cart that they then did not buy, so we can keep offering them that item and see if they bite. Bed Bath and Beyond actually does this really well. I must be a good test case for them. So sometimes if I'm shopping for something on the Bed Bath and Beyond site, I might, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. I put it in my cart, but I don't go all the way through. They'll send me an email saying, oh, by the way, we saved this for you in your shopping cart. It really wants to go home with you. Do you want to buy it? And they'll do that several times. And you can actually recover a lot of sales. And a lot of people will abandon shopping carts partway through. Let's say if they don't want to give their shipping address, or they haven't decided yet to give their credit card. And so we want to capture those people. Mm-hmm. Question, comment?
I just had that happen to me, which I hadn't seen it before, but I had it from, we were going to go to Alderbrook, and I was comparing prices to other resort hotels to get a getaway. Uh-huh. And I found that Skamania Lodge was half the price of Alderbrook right now in the couple weeks. And so Alderbrook's been communicating about, you didn't finish. And so I finally did send him an email, and I told him, I sent him an email, just said Skamania was half the price.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't offer me half price. If that had happened to me in my restaurant, I would have offered them half price.
Okay, very good. That's good. So you have a strategy to help your customers with that if they have a price issue. So that's good. So at least, because they had those abandoned cart messages and that they sent to you, they at least got some valuable information about why you didn't buy.
Yeah.
So yes. That's really valuable too. That might have been more valuable to them than the sale. So they might go, oh, okay, well, Skamania is not really our direct competitor. We don't want to compete with them on price. Or they go, we need to offer some specials because, the times are the way they are right now, right? So they might,
Right.
that might make people think over there and say, oh, okay, we need to offer a half price special for, 3-day weekends or whatever, right? So that's great that you communicated with them. That was a benefit to them. Okay, let's see. And so ask customers for reviews. We want your shopping cart to do that too. So anytime they buy a product, once they've had time to get it and open it and such, if it's a week later or 2 weeks later or whatever, we want to ask them for a review. Because we want all the great reviews, of course, but if they're not happy, we want to know that too, so we can fix it. Okay, here are some of the commonly used shopping cart systems that are out there right now. Shopify is kind of the gold standard. It integrates well with a gazillion other kinds of software. So with inventory management systems, merchant processors, accounting systems, there's lots of apps that help it to connect to all different kinds of software. And so many people find that Shopify is a great solution. One thing is you can administer it yourself. You don't have to have any programming knowledge to be able to go in and use the administration system, change out your products, change out your product description, your images, your pricing, your SKU numbers. You can do all of that. And it will talk to all your other business management software. So that's I think one of the reasons why that one's so popular right now. If you have a WordPress site, you can use WooCommerce, which usually comes with a lot of the WordPress templates that you might get for free or purchase. Squarespace can do e-commerce as well. You pay a little bit more in merchant processing because you pay Stripe or Square or PayPal, but you also pay something to Squarespace for each transaction. So it's a little bit more expensive to do e-commerce there, but also it's a really easy to maintain format. You can change it out yourself, and it's good for when you don't have a whole lot of items. So if I had a shopping cart I wanted to create and it just had 10 items or less or something like that, or 20 items or less, then I might really look at Squarespace. If I have 2,000 or 200,000 items in my inventory, not a whole bunch of different SKUs, it's definitely going to be Shopify for me. So let's see, Square now has a shopping cart system, and here are several others. Adobe just created a new one, so I'm curious to check that one out because I like all the Adobe products. Wix and Weebly, BigCommerce, these are all different either website template or website building platforms that have their own shopping cart systems kind of built into them. Some of them are more customizable than others, so it's worth testing them out to see. For instance, if you wanted to get to know Shopify, if you were considering having a Shopify e-commerce website, and actually the same is true for Squarespace, you can sign up for free and you can test drive it. And that's really cool because you can see how it all works. You can upload some product, you can test it out. You can buy from yourself on your own little test site so that you see what it's like as a customer to go through your process. Squarespace also will let you, sign up for free. I think you get 30 days or something like that for free. So you can go in, you can test drive it, build your site, put some items on there, test it out, right? And then, but eventually you have to pay to use that system. And if you can talk to an in-industry mentor about what shopping cart system they use, that can be some good intel. Oops. Let's see here. Okay. So as we're planning our e-commerce website, we're going to look at how many items should I include? Which items should I include, right? And if my products have options, right? Like if I'm customizing anything about the product, what different options do I want to include, right? Your web designer needs to know those to make sure that your shopping cart can include all the options that are available for your product. Pricing, right? It's a little more of a commoditizing conversation when you're shopping online, right? So some people are shopping different websites and comparing by price. So it does commoditize some products that aren't typically commodities at times. So you have to consider what is going to be your price strategy and how do you want to position yourselves vis-a-vis your online competitors. Let's see here. What will the shopping, will it calculate shipping? Will it calculate the shipping by weight or by the size of the box or by the number of items? I know, here's a for instance. I was going to buy some masks on Etsy because I have clients making the fabric masks. And one of them, the shopping cart was set to add shipping charges every time an item was added. So it was $4 every item that was added. So it wasn't by the weight or the size of the box. Well, that actually had me buy less because I didn't think that it ought to be another $4 every time that I'm adding a $10 fabric mask, right? So that might impact the customer experience, I guess is the point there. Those are settings, that you can set up in your shopping cart system. And so is it going to calculate sales tax? Most of them do. What merchant processor will I use? And can I use my merchant processor, let's say that I might already be using for my business, for my e-com site, or do I need a different one? Hopefully you can use the same one. And what will my return or exchange or refund or guarantee policy be? So every time when anybody's going to go set up an e-commerce website, usually the system will ask you, what is your policy? What is your return policy? What is your refund policy? Can you exchange? You have to articulate those policies. So if you're planning your site, it's good to think that through and just begin to write down how you want to structure those policies. Yeah, you can return it within a certain period of days, but you have to pay the return shipping fee, or you can return it for a full refund within X days, or it's money back guarantee period, or whatever, right? You can exchange it for something of greater, equal or greater value, or however it works. Is this all making sense?
Yes, yes. I think for me, what's going to be interesting is about at this point is I'm going to be comparing to systems that do restaurant takeout, and I'm going to be probably buying from one of those systems versus building my own sales piece. So,
I see.
but
Yeah.
this is very interesting to help me ask questions for me to buy that service.
Yes. Okay, good. So this will help you shop the features and benefits, for the different systems that you might review.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So as you're planning your shopping cart, OOAK means one of a kind, right? So obviously our cart is going to work possibly very differently if every item we have is a one of a kind item versus I got multiples of everything I sell, right? So I want to think that through. And then for my photography, my product photography, I want to consider, do I have really good photos of my product, good quality images, close-up images or images of product in use? What are the backgrounds that I want to use? If I'm taking pictures of, every product that I have, do I want to have a consistent, let's say white background or some kind of luxury looking background that gives context and environment? So I had to consider that photography, if I have it, or if I want to pay someone to do those commercial shots. Videography, same thing, right? Do I want to make my own video, like introducing my business? Do I want to have customer testimonials? Do I want to make videos for each product that I put in my site? Because you can have some shopping cart systems will let you put the picture, the description, the price and the buy now button, but also the opportunity to click on and watch a video about that product where you're showing it from every angle, or you're showing it in use, or you're displaying the various features of it. Sometimes those just have music. Sometimes they have a voice on them. And then copywriting for the product descriptions. Like I said, that turns out to be really important. You know, what you write in the copy, the story you tell, and the way you frame the value of each product is really important to selling it online. And then copywriting for the pages of the site itself. You know, if you don't have those already, you may want some great copy for your website for the various pages of the site, but especially those pages that are supposed to sell something. Okay. So a couple other things to think about as you're planning your shopping cart. How you name each product, especially if you have a large inventory with a lot of different products. You want to use your good keyword phrases related to that product to name it. So, you know, if I sell handmade wooden gift boxes or something like that, right? Then I want to actually name that product, that keyword phrase on my site, you know, handmade wooden gift box. Then I want to name the photo. The file name of the photo ought to be the same keyword phrase. So my photo file is named handmade wooden gift box or handmade wooden gift box, and then my SKU, right? I might have a SKU number, maybe that's 8 digits or whatever. That's the end of my file name, but the beginning of my file name is my good keyword phrase related to that product. So it's helpful if you've done your keyword research and you can start to match up, you know, between your products and your good keywords. How can you incorporate those good keywords in the way you name your products and in the way you name your photo files or your video files that get placed onto your site? And also those good keyword phrases are going to go in your headings, right? In your H1, your H2 and H3 headings on each page, hopefully also are those great keywords, keyword phrases. Okay, so we talked a little about abandoned cart planning. We want to be sure we have a plan for abandoned shopping carts so we can pursue those people. I am really sure there are people who have, just by adding an abandoned shopping cart automation piece, you know, may have doubled their sales or more just by adding that piece. You really can convert a lot more of your people if you don't lose them after that first bite, right?
Sure.
So you could offer, let's say, discount codes to these people to get them in. You could offer a little badge or seal on your shopping cart page to make people feel more secure. So you know, actually show your a piece of artwork that says, you know, secure server, you know, this is a secure site, basically to make people feel more comfortable to buy. We could offer a guarantee that might make more people convert. You could have an exit message on your website like, oh, do you really want to leave this page now? You haven't purchased your item yet, right? So sometimes just that extra step will have people come back in and buy, especially if you're clever with your copy. And that you might send an email out after someone has visited your site and saying, you know, please come back. Your item, we're still holding this item in the cart for you, you know, for 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever. Like I said, you want to get clever with the copy, then it could be something like, you know, but your item really wants to go home with you, or, you know, do you still love this thing? It feels abandoned, or, you know, whatever. It's pretty clever how some people have designed their abandoned cart messaging. Okay, so here's more on keyword research.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can figure out what you think your customers are shopping by. You can ask them what they typed into Google when they found you, or what you know, what they typed into Yelp or TripAdvisor or whatever when they pulled up your site. So that's one thing. And we can find out what your competitors, what keywords are they ranking for? And we can maybe optimize our site to rank for some of those same keywords that our competitors are ranking for. So let's see. So there is, when you're choosing your best long tail keyword phrases, there is a sweet spot between too broad and too narrow, right? Too broad would be like there's millions of people searching by that broad term, and you'll be, you know, number 4,032,000, right? And no one will ever see your listing on Google because you'll be so far down the list. So for instance, I'm going to use like, well, I have an example here. Let me pull up that. Okay, so GIFs, for instance, that's too broad. Even unique GIFs, that's too broad, right? There's gajillions of people that are ranked under those things. So I have to get more specific. Maybe I say, you know, clever, unique Father's Day gifts or funny, unique Father's Day gifts. Now, those might be some pretty good keywords that enough people are searching by that I can get some traffic, but I can actually rank for those keywords because there's not 4 million competitors trying to rank by that specific long tail keyword phrase. I could also get too narrow, you know, if I come down to the very bottom one and I get, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 keywords in my phrase, that might get so narrow that no one's searching by that. Sure. And then that's too narrow, right? So I want that sweet spot in the middle where there's some competition, there's some people searching by that, but not so many competitors that I can't rank. And not so narrow that nobody's really searching by that term. Okay, so back to here. So we want to use the language of our target audience, like we talked about, you know, across all your marketing. We're trying to use our customers' way of languaging about our product or service and the benefits and the value of it, why they buy it. We want to be careful to stay away from industry jargon, right? You know, there's stuff that, you know, people in web design or people in manufacturing or people in retail or people in restaurants, right? There's a way that you speak, you know, with other people in your industry, and it might include some kind of industry jargon. Your customer may not use that same language. So we want to be cautious about that in our site and in our e-commerce. And what's interesting and really cool is that once you kind of get good at this keyword research, you can start to identify keyword phrases that indicate an intent to buy versus someone who's just looking for information, right? So sometimes when you type a search in Google, you're looking for a piece of information. Other times you are out to buy a thing. And so keyword research people and Google and so forth have come to identify and started to categorize people who search by the reason or motivation for their search. And so as you list your keyword phrases and you start to put together that list of whatever you think is your top 20 or 30 long tail keyword phrases that you'd like to try to rank for, you're going to maybe notice, or hopefully notice, which ones indicate an intent to buy. Like they're coming out to dinner tonight. They're looking for a restaurant right now and they're in their car, right? Versus people are just hunting for information who aren't ready to buy, right? So we'll look for that as you're looking through your keywords, yeah?
Let me ask you a question just about the very last one and on that you want to rank for. In doing the keyword research, am I doing anything about the ranking, or is that what Google's going to do on the ranking?
Both. Okay. So your web designer is going to do some things. If you tell your web designer or SEO professional that you hire, if you tell them, here are the long tail keyword phrases that I think, I would like to rank for. And they might tell you, okay, I think these are too broad, or I think these are too narrow, or I think these are great. And they can look up, and say, okay, and Google will actually tell you how many people in your state or in the country are searching by that particular keyword phrase each month, which is
Really?
it's super cool because you can see also what keyword phrases are trending up. More and more people are searching by them. Also, which ones are trending down. There less and less people are searching by them in your state or in your, country. However, you can, broaden it or narrow it, but Google will tell you how many people are actually searching by that phrase. So once you get a set that you can look at, you can look that up. And then your web designer is going to actually include these long tail keyword phrases in the programming, the back end of your site, depending on what platform it's built in. And they're also going to include, or you want to include, these same long tail keyword phrases in the page names or the headings or the URL or in the copy of your website, or all of the above. Does this
Let
make
me
sense?
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Where does Google tell me the number of people looking at that phrase? Where is that?
I will have to look up what that URL is. I don't remember whether it's you can get in through your Google Analytics, or if they have just a public page where you can look that up. You might have to be logged into your Google Analytics to look at it.
And I've never done that. So, okay.
Okay. So your designer can set up your Google Analytics account for you, so that you can see, for instance, how many people are visiting your site, how long do they stay on your site, what search engines or other sites do they come from when they come to your site. That might be useful, right? Because then you can see, oh, half of my people are coming from Yelp when they come to visit the site. Or you might see, most of my searches are coming from, they're coming from Google when they come to me, right? And that might tell me, oh, I should be advertising on Google, Or
Sure.
maybe some of them are, they're coming from Facebook, and then you can see, oh, maybe I need to have more of a presence on Facebook or buy a Facebook ad, because the people who liked my Facebook page are visiting my site.
Okay. And when you said looking them up, do you mean that point of where I just type in on Google my phrase that I think's maybe a good one, and then I'll see the results just drop down?
Well, that's going to show you similar searches, but it's not going to tell you how many people are searching by that keyword phrase.
Okay.
But there is, Google has, I forget, there are little widgets that you can add to Google that show you for those keyword phrases, that does show you how many people are searching by that keyword phrase, what are some other really similar keyword phrases that people are searching by. It can also tell you the current price, like how competitive that keyword is on Google. I'll have to look up the name of that little piece of software you can add to your Google that tells you.
That'd be great.
I think it's called
Thank you.
Keyword Tracker, but I'll have to double check.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's special tools on YouTube too, that do the same thing. They tell you, how people are arriving at your YouTube channel, how they got to you, and what keywords they typed into YouTube to arrive at your video. So YouTube has a similar keyword tool.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we looked at that. Oh, okay. So here are some of the tools that search engine professionals use, search engine optimization people, and web designers use some of these tools and sites. So Ahrefs is a fantastic tool. It's got so much data. It's hard for, an average user to find what's actually useful within there. but a professional can. Ahrefs lets you see what keywords any site is ranking for. So you could type in your competitor's URL on Ahrefs, and you could see, oh, my competitor in town is, you know, Red Lobster or whatever, right? And you could see what keywords that seafood restaurant is ranking by. So that might give you some clues what you want to rank for.
Okay.
SEMrush is the same. That way it's not as robust, but it's also more user-friendly than Ahrefs. Google Keyword Planner. That might be the tool that I'm thinking of when I say you can look in there and see how many people are searching in a certain geographic area by the month by that keyword. If I remember correctly, I believe that is Google Keyword Planner. You can look at the source code of your competitor's site. So how can you see the programming, the code that actually makes up your competitor's site? And sometimes you can see their keywords in there. You actually, what is it? You right click, oops. When you're on their webpage, any page of their site, you might use the home page, would probably be the best. But you would right click and it will pull up a drop down menu and you say view source. And if you say view source, it's going to show you the actual code, the actual programming that makes up that site and tells it how to display. Within that source code are something called meta tags. There might be a meta title, a meta description, which is what Google displays, that first 1 or 2 lines that Google displays, the description of your site. That's going to have your good keywords in it. And then meta keywords. And you're going to see that competitor's list of keywords that they have programmed into their site.
I see. Interesting.
Some people hide them now, but some people don't hide them. So you can always try it and see if you can view their keywords in the programming of their site.
Great.
Yeah, little what private eye kind of intel there. Yeah. Also, I list Neil Patel here. He's a marketing guru, and he talks a lot about online marketing tips and tricks. And he has this blog post, 25 sneaky online tools. That's worth checking out. And then SEObook.com as well. So these are some good keyword research sites and tools. They could help you or perhaps your designer or both to kind of work together to identify what is your list of keywords you'd like to rank for. And then you work on over time how to rank for those. By the way, you're going to use those same good keywords throughout all your social media platforms. Okay. So if you're talking about, let's say, fresh local lobster on your website and you're using that in your headings and on your copy in the site and in your meta tags, you might also be talking about fresh local lobster on all your different social media platforms, right?
Good. Yes.
Okay. Here are a couple tools that can help you test your site for page load speed. So you can make sure that your site loads fast enough so that Google will like it. Also so that your user will like your site and is not having to wait for your page to load. If your page doesn't load as fast as you would like, then you got to talk to your designer about what can we do to optimize this page so it loads faster. For instance, you might be able to minimize the file size of your images or of your video files. There are a lot of different tools that allow you to optimize your page for faster page load speed. Could also have to do with your hosting company. So your hosting setup can also influence how fast your page loads. So there's a few different factors to consider there, but these are some of the tools you can use to see, oh, okay, how fast does my homepage load? And then you can dig into, okay, if it doesn't load fast enough, okay, now what am I going to do about it? And bring that to your designer and say, okay, what can we do? Okay, and then your e-commerce conversation, of course, we want to define what a conversion is. You know, conversion could be a lot of different things, and we want to define which kind of conversions we want to have. Maybe we want to convert someone from seeing our Facebook ad to clicking on the ad and going to our website. Maybe we want to convert someone from going to our homepage to going to a product page, or from clicking on a product to clicking on the buy now button. Or we want them to create a customer account on our website. Or we want them to go through all the steps of our shopping cart. Or we want them to enter their credit card and save it. Or maybe we want them to subscribe to our email list, or hit a submit button, or register for a free newsletter, or, you know, download our lead magnet. We just want to define whatever action it is we want our user to take, so we can design the page around that. So what causes conversions? Yeah. Credible design, right? Your site looks great. It includes the appropriate security, ease of use, less clicks, in focus, flattering pics of your product, pictures of your product in use versus on the shelf. No distractions, right? We don't want to take people off course from the buy now button, right? If that's the purpose of our site. And sort of like, you know, with real estate, and you know, they say location, location, location. It matters the most. With your e-com site, it's compelling copy, compelling copy, compelling copy that helps you sell your product or service. So you want to have good copy. And there are great, you know, professional copywriters who can do this for you. Also, Dan Kennedy's No BS books are listed here. And he references a great example, which you can sign up to receive free, the J. Peterman catalog. They just sell apparel, but they tell a great story about every piece of apparel, and it sells product like you can't imagine. They have great copy. So you want to have a great offer, a guarantee, obviously value, use urgency and scarcity. And a lot of people right now are expecting a free shipping. So for many people, it makes sense to build in the cost of shipping into your products so that you can offer free shipping, since so many others are now doing that, especially Amazon. Okay, so we're doing, we're upselling, we're downselling, we're suggestive selling. And by suggestive selling, I mean, if you liked this product, then you'll probably like these other 3 things that go with it, right? Like Amazon does. People who like this also like that. We recommend this product for you because we know if you looked at that product, you probably will like this one. You can, to incentivize people to buy, you can offer them a better deal if they'll add an item. So if you want to get the second item, then we'll take, 20% off your whole order or whatever. We can also offer them something less expensive if they don't go through with the more expensive item that they put in their cart or that they just viewed on the site. Okay, so retail sales tax. This is always something to consider with e-com. And the legislation around this changes frequently these days. So always check with the Department of Revenue, dor.wa.gov, and see what is the latest about this. At the moment, if your business is in Washington and you're shipping to a Washington address, your shopping cart's going to calculate sales tax for you. If your business is in Washington, you're shipping out of state, your shopping cart is not going to add sales tax to that, but it depends, right? Some states have their own legislation going on. Federal laws also change around this at times. So that's why I say check with DOR to see what's the current situation. Always a cool idea to research your competitors. Yeah, what are they selling? What products do they bundle together or to make packages? So that's a way to increase your average unit sale, right? Is to bundle stuff. What product names or keyword phrases are they using on their site? What keyword phrases are they ranking for? And some of those keyword research tools can help you with that. How do they name their products and how do they write their product descriptions? What kind of product photos do they have? And, you know, if you shop them, what is their shopping cart experience like? So you actually go through the process, buy something from them just to see what it's like to go through that whole process and how the product comes to you, how it arrives, how it's packaged. That's useful research. Okay. And so this part can be a little bit like there's a lot of steps and such, but the point of it is just to say, if you don't have a written down sales process, what is your sales process in your business? Then you want to articulate one. And you can get, if one easy way to do it is to get post-it notes, write each step of your sales process on the post-it note, and then put them in the sequence, right? What order do those steps go in? So some people have kind of inbound marketing, people leads coming to them. Other people have outbound, they're going out to get those customers. Either way, you want to know what your sales process is. That might be relevant for your e-commerce conversation, right? Because it might indicate, oh, okay, well, after the person buys, then we need to send them an email saying, you know, when would you like your next appointment? Or so you just want to have, you just want to know what are the steps in your sales process and how long is your sales cycle typically. That can vary a lot, right? For a commodity transaction, it might just be a one transaction, really quick sales cycle, takes place in a minute. And for large ticket items like, let's say, consulting services or big consulting packages or whatever it might be, you know, a 3-month sales cycle to go through all the steps that people have to get through to make a decision about a very high ticket item. Just know what your sales process is, and then look at how, what steps in that sales process need to be integrated into my e-commerce. Okay, and here's one other valuable piece, and then we'll wrap up. So if you have a website, especially an e-commerce website or landing page whose job it is to sell, then you may want to have an what we call a funnel, right? A lead generation system online, something that pulls people to that landing page or to that website so that they can buy. So here's a couple of examples of sales funnels, right? This is one that I have used before, right? So I have a Facebook ad or YouTube ad or Instagram ad that when they click on it, it goes to a landing page. Oops. And when they get to the landing page, they can register for my free webinar. And then out of those who register for my webinar, this part's not on the slide, but I'm just telling you. So if they register for my webinar, right, then I can capture their email address. A certain percentage of those people who register for my free webinar will show up. A certain percentage of those who show up for my free webinar will stay through the whole thing. Some will, some won't. And a certain percentage of those who stay through the whole thing will book a sales call with me where I can have a one-on-one conversation with them, right? And a certain percentage of those people who come to a sales call, I will close in to buy my program. This is when I was providing an educational program. So you can kind of see how that works. But what's really cool is after you have a lead generation system like this, you get to know your percentages. You know, if X many people see my ad, the right people, right, then X percent of that will click on the ad. X percent of those who go to my landing page will sign up for my webinar. X percent of my webinar attendees will book a sales call. And X percent of those who come to a sales call will buy. And the beauty of that is then I know I know exactly if I spend a amount of money on Facebook ads, I will produce Y amount of income from that. Isn't that cool? So I know
Yeah.
if I spend X much on Facebook ad, what's going to come out the other end of my sales funnel is going to be so much in sales. And so that's really cool, right? Because now that's a system in your business that works to produce income, like an ATM machine. You have to use the system, but if you build the system and you test it and you tweak it and you get it where it works effectively, now you have a system that produces income for you. And so it's just a super cool process. And it's a little bit different depending on, each different kind of business, how you'd set up your online lead generation system. There's a lot of possibilities, but if you would like to talk through, okay, how am I going to get leads to my website, then that's something that we could talk through. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. And so the next part is actually for me to ask you, what do you see as some possible next steps for yourself? How can you apply this information?
Well, I'm, deeply excited. I kind of can't wait to get to work on my keyword research, because I've really not done any of that. And so I'm going to look not only at what mine is like right now, but I just want to look at my competitors. So that's going to be immediate. And then the
Mhm.
other thing I liked from what you said earlier was a subscription service. I think we can do kind of an adaptation of the Dan Kennedy piece. And I want to think about that with my staff.
Uh-huh.
Especially, I know that's really helpful for us, that idea of in the wintertime. And I also then, like I said to you, that this whole, some of the detailed pieces about developing the site, I really want to use as a way to assess the takeout business I need to purchase, the takeout ordering system. So
Okay.
I've been looking at them by actually looking at my competitors,
Uh-huh.
and using my competitors to see what they're like. And so anyway, those are my notes I've made to myself.
Fantastic. It's so you can learn a lot just secret shopping your competitors, right?
Mhm.
It's a good
Yes.
process. You learn a lot in that process. And I'm excited that you're excited to do your keyword research. It can, really help you. And I think for you also, because of the kind of business that you're in, the whole online review conversation and that you're on top of that, that's only going to build and get better and better, especially as you're deliberate with your site and with your e-commerce and takeout system. If you start to build in a system where you automatically ask for those reviews, your number of reviews is going to go up a lot, and then Google will notice that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That to my list. Yeah, that I do want to add that to my list. So thank
And
you.
I will, since I think it'd be valuable for you to read, I will look up that Dan Kennedy reference. Certainly, get plugged into his work, check out his website. You might order some of
Yes.
his books, whichever ones look relevant and interesting to you.
Yes.
But I'll find the example about the Italian restaurant that
That'd be
repositioned itself as being in the romance business and just completely took off out of that subscription system and that positioning.
that'd be great. That'd be great. And then I do also want to chase the Google Analytics about what I may have or may not have,
Mhm.
and keyword tracker there.
Mhm.
So I'll get Google Keyword Planner. But if there's anything else you think I'm missing in that Google work, let me know.
Okay. Okay, I will. I'm actually going to get some training coming up from Google, from somebody who works for Google, so that I can better support business with whatever's current, whatever's right now, because it changes so much, right?
Right.
With Google. So I'll keep you posted as far as, if there's more training available about how to optimize for Google today based on, the current changes or changes in their algorithm and such. then I'll let you know when those are coming up.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And where exactly is Seaview located?
Seaview's on the Long Beach Peninsula, the very southwest corner of Washington.
Okay. Okay. I've been to Long Beach and Ilwaco.
Okay.
We did a class in Ilwaco in January.
Well, then you pass my restaurant because I'm between them.
Really?
Yeah, we're a historic train station, but actually you pass the sign on the road to my restaurant. You have to look to the right as you're making that drive. But we're
Okay.
120-year-old train station. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a unique building you have then, huh?
It's great. It's another piece of my marketing. We get people just because it's a historic train station. So yes.
Yeah, how fun. What a neat environment. Context is everything, right? Like that whole environment
Yes.
is something you can really milk in your marketing and, make something of it. It's great.
Yes. Yes, we try. we kind of look like a little. To me, we look like in normal times, not right now with 50% of seating, but we normally look to me like a Parisian bistro. And so we try to play off the travel scenario. And of course, people are traveling to come. So
Yeah,
it's been fun. It's been fun.
fantastic. That's great. Well, thanks so much for spending a couple of evenings with me and learning about all this. I'm excited to see what you do, and we'll stay in touch on the email waves then.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate getting to do this, even though I'm the only one. I'm sending a thank you note to Enterprise. I just think it's just for equity. Anyway, it's been great, and I'm on the board of EDC, and I'm thanking our own association as well. I'm just sorry more people haven't taken advantage of it.
Oh, well, that would be, it'd be great. It'd be wonderful if some more people can, either tune into the video or if they want us to do classes for the ADC or whatever, I'd be so happy to do that.
Great. Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Okay. All right. See you soon.